Pero for the sake of analyzing the problem, let's try to determine ano ba ibig sabihin nung um, determine the elevation, determine the maximum elevation. Kasi pag binigay nyo lang as 4.14 meters, hindi natin alam kung siya ba is 4.14 meters na minimum or 4.14 meters as maximum na. So, okay, so for the following slides, kukunti na lang to. Kung kanina, na-determine natin yung pump performance or more on the identifying the capacity, the head, the power, the efficiency, the net positive suction head required ng isang pump. Ito naman is to determine the performance ng pump kapag naka-series or naka-parallel yung connection natin. So, na-introduce natin yung series and parallel connection on the week 3 of our discussion. So, paano ba tayo mag-plot ng series connection? First, let's identify muna or let's plot yung tinatawag na single curve lang. Then, ang objective nga natin kapag yung pump natin is in series connection, then ang objective natin dito is to increase the total head, tama? So, para ma-determine natin yung magiging bagong curve natin kapag yung pump natin is naka-series connection, then let's try to connect or let's try to measure these values. Total head, kasi head yung kukunin natin dito. We need to increase the total head ng ating pump. Okay. Then, make it double or double the size ng elevation. Then, plot the curve or plot those points. So, exactly the same lang naman siya dito and dito. So, makukuha na natin yung series pump curve natin. So, ang ginawa lang naman natin is dinoble lang natin yung elevation ng ating single pump curve while maintaining the volume flow rate kasi nga ang volume flow rate natin is parehas lang kapag naka-series connection tayo. Pero meron ditong new entry or new topic na ma-discuss natin. So based from this chart, yung nasa right side na tayo class, makikita nyo dito yung na-introduce na tinatawag na system curve. So system curve, actually, may definition tayo dito on the next slide. Pero to make it brief, system curve is the pagpa-plot nung curve natin when it comes to total losses sa system, including the major losses, friction losses, the losses sa mga fittings, sa elbows, sa weldolet, sa reducers. So, kinocompute yan per volumetric flow rate, then ipina-plot sa system. As you can see as well, the system curve is opposite lagi sa ating pump curve. So, kung saan mag-intersect yung ating system curve at yung ating pump curve, that will be the design operating condition. So, kung saan sila mag-operate, then that will be the design operating condition. So, project nyo lang siya on the left side, then makukuha na natin yung output na fit dito, total fit. So, for example, this is 100 gallons per minute. Doon sila nag-intersect, tama? And this will be 100 feet. Assume lang naman, kasi wala namang data pa dito. Since both of them is in series connection, if they are both, if pares lang silang nag-ooperate at the same time, then both of them is producing 100 gallons per minute, or yung capacity nila is producing 100 gallons per minute. However, each of them is just producing 50 feet of total head. So, total pa rin naman natin is 100 feet. Nakuha pa rin natin yung design operating condition. Yun nga lang, yung bawat isa sa kanila is nagpo-produce lang ng 50 feet of total head. Pag pinag-add mo sila, since naka-series ka, total pa rin is 100 feet. Okay, class? Ang tanong naman later on is what if mag-fail yung isa, then what will be the new operating condition nung isang pump na natitira? But before that, let's discuss muna yung pump curves in parallel connection. So almost the same lang naman sila ni series connection. Objective nga lang natin dito is to increase the volumetric flow rate. So yung kukunin natin is the volumetric flow rate. So ipa-plot lang natin, i-multiply natin ito to kapag twice yung connection natin, yung volumetric flow rate, then plot the points or connect the points, then we can determine now the pump curves in parallel connection. So same lang siya dito, same lang siya dito. So again, kung saan nag-intersect yung ating system curve dun sa ating pump curve, then this will be the design operating conditions. So for example, the pump has a capacity of 100 gallons per minute at a total feet of 100 feet or total head of 100 feet. Then both of them, while they are in operation, is producing an output of 100 feet, while each of them has a capacity lang ng 50 gallons per minute. Okay? So this is the system curve analysis. Basahin lang muna natin. The next step in the analysis is to plot a system curve using the design operating condition as the basis. The system curve represents the flow head loss relationship for a specific system. So flow head loss relationship, kukunin natin dito yung head losses against or relative dun sa volumetric flow rate or dun sa capacity ng ating pump. The system head loss can be calculated knowing the pipe size, pipe length, design flow rate, head loss and other components like fittings and terminal units must also be considered. The operation of the pump in a piping circuit described by the system curve must be at the intersection of the pump curve and the system curve. So head losses natin dito is hindi lang yung friction losses, kasama na dito yung lahat ng losses na meron sa system. Fittings, valves, well delay, reducers, lahat yan kukunin natin. So hindi naman natin tinuro dito yung mga head losses na yun, kaya hindi natin i-introduce sa inyo yung system curve equation. Pero to determine daw system curve, makakalculate natin yan using the system curve equation and the Bell and Gasset system calculator. So we have two types para ma-determine natin si system curve analysis or para ma-plot natin, either using the system curve equation or the Bell and Gasset system calculator. So for the system curve analysis, it is not necessary, however, to make a series of calculations to establish a system curve. This is because friction loss varies in a mathematical ratio with the change in water flow rate. The system dynamic head will change approximately as the square of the change in water flow. So sinasabi pala dito na kapag determine na natin yung initial head loss at a corresponding volume flow rate, madidetermine na natin yung mga succeeding head losses H2, so on, so forth, for corresponding volume flow rate using these equations on the left. So, as long as ma-determine naman natin yung head loss at the corresponding flow rate, yung initial head loss, makakakuha na tayo ng series of head losses with respect to the volume flow rate using this equation. Makaplot na natin yung ating system curve. But we will not do that for today. I-introduce lang natin yan. So, this is the condition naman or scenario na what if mag-fail yung isa nating pump in connections or in series connection or in parallel connection. What will be the new operating condition? So, one of the major benefits of the parallel pumping is a standby operation. The function of standby pump is to take over or continue the pumping functions if the first pump goes out of service. With parallel pumping, if one pump is out of service, the remaining pump can still provide a high degree of the design flow requirement. Remember that the point of operation will always be the intersection of pump curve and the system curve. Okay, so based from this graph or figure, if our pump is running in parallel connection. For example, the capacity of both pumps is 100 gallons per minute and the total head is 100 feet as well. And if both of them is in operation, then each of them is producing 50 gallons per minute lang at 100 feet of head. However, if one pump fails or is taken out of service, the composite parallel pump curve disappears and the point of operation shifts to the intersection of the designed single pump curve with already established system curve. So what if daw mag-fail nga or mag-trip yung isa nating pump? Then from initial of 100 gallons per minute, yung ating magiging panibagong flow rate ng single pump will be, so hindi siya kalahati glass. Kung saan nag-intersect yung ating um, system curve at dun sa ating single pump curve, yun ang magiging volume flow rate niya. So hindi siya 50 gallons per minute. Actually, kung titignan natin dito, then that will be more than 50. Assume na natin na nasa 75 gallons per minute. While the total head, kung saan siya nag-intersect ulit, hindi siya magpo-produce ng 100 feet, even though pag sinabi natin na volume flow rate, yung total heat niya is remain constant lang. Kapag nag-fail yung isang pump, actually mas mababa yung magiging volume flow rate, magiging total head na mapuproduce ng ating pump. So, given dito, assume natin na nasa 80 feet lang siya. However, na-satisfy, hindi mo totally na-satisfy, pero kung titignan natin yung statement dito, the remaining pump can still provide a high degree of the design flow requirement. So, rather than 50 gallons per minute, makakapag-provide pa rin tayo ng more than 50. So, based from this, around nasa 75 gallons per minute nga lang. Gallons per minute siya. Yun nga lang, at a lower total head yung na-produce niya. So, let's explain it better using examples here. So, for design pumping requirement of 120 gallons per minute at 35, assume a design pumping requirement of 120 GPM at 35 feet of head. Okay, so i-plot lang natin yun, yung design requirement natin at 35 feet of head. So, may point na naman dito, plot lang natin sa x-axis and y-axis. Okay. And 120 gallons per minute. So, given yung three types ng pumps natin, from pump A, pump B, and pump C, and none of them, kung makikita nyo, is within the range or the heat or kayang mag-satisfy dun sa requirement natin, which is 120 gallons per minute at 35 feet of head. Then, definitely, what we need to do is either bumili ng isang large pump or bumili ng isa pang small pump na i-connect natin into parallel connection. Kapag connect natin to in parallel connection, what we need to do is to divide since parallel connection tayo, volume flow rate natin is mahati lang naman. So divide the required volume flow rate into 2, which is 120 gallons per minute. So, paano yung ginagawa? So, 120 gallons per minute, divide natin into 2, 60 gallons per minute. Yun ang total head natin is 35 feet ang requirement. So, from 35 feet, i-plot lang natin siya. So kung saan nag-intersect sa single pump curve natin, yun ang kailangan natin or idodoblehin natin na size ng ating pump. So nag-intersect siya sa pump curve B. So yung pump B yung gagamitin natin para or ipa-parallel connection natin. So basically, this is just the same. Connect natin siya dito, make it twice, and that's it. Same din on this one. Make it twice. And makukuha natin yung pump. Yung ating parallel pump curves. So yun lang naman class. The more na mag-connect ka ng dots dito, the more you put data here, then mas magiging accurate yung pagpa-plot natin. Okay? But for now, since naka-plot na naman siya, gamitin natin to as it is. Next, nagagawin natin is to plot the system curve na tinatawag to determine the operating condition or system operating condition. Okay, so if both pumps are running together, then masasatisfy natin yung condition natin. Initial condition is 120 gallons per minute at 35 feet of head. Tama? Then one of them or each of them is producing at least 60 gallons per minute at 35 feet of head. Then what if one pump fails? Malalaman natin yung panibagong operating condition. So if nag-fail yung pump, i-connect lang natin yung system curve natin towards or kung saan nag-intersect siya sa ating single pump curve. So let's connect it here. Let's match it here. Then, ang makukuha natin bagong value or ang operating condition natin kapag nag-fail yung isang pump is 90 gallons per minute at 20 feet of head. So hindi kapag nag-fail yung isang pump, hindi tayo makapag-produce kung ini-expect natin na 60 gallons per minute at 35 feet of head pa din. Well, hindi ganoon yung scenario natin. Magdidepende yon sa system curve na tinatawag. So, we can produce a much greater capacity rather than 60 gallons per minute. We can produce 90 gallons per minute. Pero yung ating total feet or yung total head na madidevelop is mas mababa nga lang, which will be 20 feet of head. Bakit? Kasi nag-introduce na tayo na tinatawag na system curve or yung head losses. Alam naman natin na the pump needs to overcome all those losses, tama. Ini-include natin yung head losses sa pag-calculate ng total dynamic head, sa pag-calculate ng fluid power. So from two pumps na nag-overcome nung initial head losses natin, nabawasan na yung pump na yun, naging isa na nga lang siya. So hindi na kayang i-maintain ng pump yung 30 feet of head. Rather, kaya na lang niya mag-produce ng 20 feet of head. Pero nga lang, mas maganda nga lang is at 90 gallons per minute. Cheers. So that's it for parallel pump. Ganun din naman, actually ganun din when it comes to pump in series. So initial condition natin or ang design requirement natin is 75 gallons per minute at 40 feet of head. So let's plot it. Then kapag naka-series connection tayo, ano kinukuha natin class? Kinukuha natin is the total head. So the total head here is 40 feet. Hatiin nyo na sa dalawa, make it 20 feet. Then kung saan mag-i-intersect yung ating total head at yung required natin na capacity, which is 75 gallons per minute, yun ang gagamitin nating pump na i-connect in series. So, nag-connect siya dito or nag-intersect siya dito sa pump C natin. So, dalawang pump C yung gagamitin natin para ma-reach yung ating design requirement. Kasi as you can see here, pump A, pump B, and pump C na naman is below the design requirement. So, it's either bumili tayo ng isang oversized na pump, mag-connect tayo ng dalawang pump, smaller pump, into series connection para ma-reach natin yung design pumping requirement. For item C, actually you can do it on your own. connect it both. Connect the dots. And makukuha na natin yung pump curve natin in series connection. Okay. So again, let's plot the point system curve natin. Then, since naka-design naman tayo dun sa system curve na yun, or dun sa point of operating condition natin, then wala magbabago. Kapag both of them is running, then both of them is producing 75 gallons per minute at the same time, 40 feet of head. However, kapag yung isang pump na naman is nasira or nag-fail, ang magiging bago operating condition natin is $60 gallons per minute at 25 feet of head. So yung initial condition, or initial requirement is 75 gallons at 40 feet of head. Kapag both of them is running, while kapag nasira ang isa, nag-trip or in operation, then yung matitirang pump will operate at 60 gallons per minute at 20 feet of head. So hindi siya 20. Kapag nasira, since usually, di ba, hinahati lang naman natin, pero kapag considering the system curve, hindi pala. Hindi siya half of the total head. As you can see here, it can produce 25 feet of head. Yun nga lang, maganda yung ating capacity. From 75 gallons per minute, konti lang yung nabawas, naging 60 gallons per minute yung ating capacity kapag isa na lang yung natitira. So that's it, class. Actually, tapos na yung ating discussion regarding pumps, yung ating first fluid machinery na pag-uusapan. So, any clarifications, any questions? Sana naintindihan natin yung pump curves. Hindi siya papapasama sa midterm natin, by the way, class. Kasi hindi ko alam kung nakikita nyo ng malinaw and baka mahirapan kayo sa midterms kapag sinama natin to. Unless nagbigay ako sa inyo dito ng hard copy. Kasi hindi eh. Pero, ayun. So, it won't be part of the midterms. Pero please understand or please remember the pump curve, pump performance curve. Kasi nga, it's an easiest way para ma-determine yung performance ng ating pump. And mas makagamit nyo naman to kapag siguro mag-design tayo or mag-improve tayo ng isang system. Okay, class? Any questions, clarifications before we end this discussion? Yes, Miss Claudine. Pure problem solving lang yung midterm exam natin. Madali lang naman. Medyo mataas naman kayo nung quiz natin, di ba? So, actually, combination nga lang siya nung discussion natin ng fluid properties, fluid flow in pipes, at saka itong discussion ng pumps. Thank you din. So, kung wala na tayong tanong, then good luck sa mga midterms natin. And see you on next week siguro. Unless we have a classes on, or unless we have a class on Sunday pala. We'll see to that, okay?
Thank you po.
Thank you sa inyo. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Okay.
Thank you po.